Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, recorder. Did you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by ALternativeDigitalk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be normal.
This message is brought to you by ALternativeDigitalk.
Looking for a pair of shoes? Les Hub Stores has a wide range of selection for unisex footwear. We have the best quality of all brands at pocket-friendly prices, and we make deliveries countrywide. Just place your order or reach us on 0772 08 0090. You can also check up at Les Hub Stores on all our social media platforms. Les Hub, craft your own footprints.
Fellow citizens, following the sequence of events, Uganda seems to be at political crossroads.
I'm not a servant of anybody.
Madam, I know the law.
As such, ALternativeDigitalk brings you the Interface Show with retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besuje.
Let's keep on the same page on ALternativeDigitalk,
as he gives you the alternatives on the transition question, rule of law, human rights and freedom, youth inclusion in governance, economic stagnation, as he confirms.
I'll be always here, Saturday from 10 a.m. in the morning. Be there.
Don't miss the live discussion on the Alternative Uganda, Digitalk TV Facebook pages, and the Alternative Uganda YouTube channel.
The ALternativeDigitalk. Real issues, Real talk.
Amacha amalungi abatukeereddeko ku mpewo zaffe za The Alternative Digitalk Farida bikoberege manya gange njagala okubaaniriza era okubategeeza nti muli mu kulaba Mighty Drive tubeerawo buli lunaku essaawa zibeera 2 nga toyingirawo paka ssaawa 4 ez'okumakya. Njagala okubakubiriza okubeera nga mutufollowinga musubscribinga ku YouTube channel yaffe, mutufollowinga ku Facebook tuli ku The Alternative Uganda oba Digitalk TV wonna woba otusanze mukwane tuweka follow subscribing tewelabira okunyiga notification button tewelabira tulikinga ate no munange tuberenga ate tutereza Uganda yaffe fenna wamu n'ensi yonna okutwaliza wamu ku Twitter otusanga at The Alternative Uga era nayo munange genda yo tuweka follow engage in the discussions etuba tetutandiseyo eyo you can retweet sobola commentinga okulaba nti ate munange you play your part in building the nation. Ennaku z'omwezi ziri 14 omwezi tuli mu gwa mukaaga omwaka tuli mu 2023 obudde bunnyogogamukko kubanga mukama yatublessinze n'ekire ky'enkuba olunaku lw'eggulo wano mu Kampala endowooza nti ate gwe munnange ofulumye ewaka osobola okubanga ate ogenze nga weetegese bulungi nnyo okulaba nti ate olunaku lwaleero olukaakalabya bulunnya. It is very important bw'obanga ozuukuse n'okebera ku weather updates n'olaba ate munnange olunaku lwo lunaatambula lutya n'ogenda ku mulimu oba yonna gy'ogenda okolera nga weegadinze bulungi nnyo oba otutte ekijaketi oba ekikopo kya kyayo anything n'obeera nga ate munnaye embeera y'obudde tekukwata offside kubanga embeera y'obudde updates zibeerako nnyo osobola okubanga ate ova owaka ng'osomye weather updates okulaba nti ate munnange weetegese bulungi nnyo olunaku okubanga lw'okutambulira bulungi ddala. Olunaku lw'eggulo gaabadde masanyu meerere side zeeriye Kasese kuba nti DPP yavuddeyo na droppinga emisango ku omusinga wa Rwenzururu ne ba Royal Guards be bakwata mu 2016. That makes it 7 years nti abaana bano the Royal Guards babadde emyaka 7 mukomera naye nno olunaku lw'eggulo DPP yavuddeyo na droppinga charges yadde nga lawyer wa omusinga yavuddeyo n'agamba ye teyapplyingako for amnesty naye ng'ate bavuddeyo agamba mbu abantu bano baba droppinzeko emisango egya treason egya murder egya aggravated robbery era ne balagira trial judge waabwe yalagidde ate munnaye abantu bano bateebwe mu bunnambiro naye munnange abantu abawerera ddala 217 ba Royal Guards nga kwogasse n'omusinga oba nno ennamba egendera ddala ku 218 ate ababiri bo munnange kiraga nti munnaye abamu bazaalibwa n'omukisa abamu tebazaalibwa nago ku ba Royal Guards 217 ababiri bo nonno order ya amnesty teyabatwaliddemu era bo badiziddwayo mukomera ne balagirwa okomawo mu kooti next month nno okuli omukulu Thembo ne Kamada bo munnange amnesty teyabakoledde era bakulaba nti bakomawo mu kooti omwezi ogujja okulebuukana n'emisango egya treason, murder ne aggravated robbery naye nga omukulu ono kinajjukirwa nti olubiri lwe lwalumbibwa mu 2016 era abantu 136 ne battibwa abamu ne bavaayo ne injuries ez'amaanyi naye ng'ate olunaku lw'eggulo kigambibwa nti omukulu ono omusinga yabadde nga ali in talks with the government okulaba nti ate bamujjako emisango gino ekintu kye yafunye olunaku lw'eggulo yadde ng'ono abadde nga yaweebwa bail ng'era naye abadde takkirizibwa kulinnya kigere kaseese oba kuba nti ayogerezeganyako n'abantu be abeeyo nga tafunye court order katusuubire nti ate munnange kino nno kinaabeera nga kimugrantingibwa olw'okuba nti ate emisango gyamugiddwako lwaki nga takola ki tafuna ate kubeera nga agenda nayogerezeganyako n'abantu be oba n'ababuzaamu potwali jjajja yabadde mu musango guno omukyala Alice Kamuhanji Kahuka yavuddeyo n'ategeeza nti abo bonna ababadde luzira abadde mu makomera gonna nga bali ku musango guno bateebwe excluding two Royal Guards Bo munnange bakuwere nemba n'emisango kutandikira ddala next month tunalabalabako mu kooti ensonga lwaki bo basigaziddwa tenamanyikwa naye nga ate munnange tujja kubanga ate tuginoonyereza tugifune bulungi nnyo tulabe lwaki bo basigaddeyo ate ng'abalala bateereddwa ate ekiro ekyakeeseza olwokubiri armed robbers balumbye famire y'Abasomali ey'abantu 6 ne battamu omuntu omu ate omuntu omulala n'agenda n'ebisago ebyamaanyi ddala kino nno kyabadde wali mu Rubaga division omukulu ono agambibwa deceased agambibwa okubanga businessman ku sides eri e Bukesa parish ekiro ekyakeseza olwokubiri abakwata mundu bamuyingirira mu makaage ku ssaawa 9 ez'okumakya ne bamukuba amasasi agamujja mu bulamu bw'ensi ate muganda we ye n'akuba amasasi naye yasigaddewo akyapooca n'ebiwundu omukulu omwogezi wa poliisi yavuddeyo n'ategeeza nti emisango 2 gyaguddwawo wali ku Old Kampala omuli mada ne attempted murder era n'ategeeza nti bali mu kukola okunoonyereza okulaba ki ekyaviiriddeko obulumbagani buno lwaki munnange ate abantu bano basazeewo okulumba famire eno ey'Abasomali ate ne battamu omuntu abalala bakyapooca n'ebiwundu abantu 3 mweno famire era no kijja tegerekeka nti abantu 8 be bakattibwa mu bulumbaganyi bw'emundu wano mu kibuga Kampala omwezi oguwedde abantu 8 be battibwa nga battiddwa mundu kati ate ku guno omwezi twaka recordingayo ndowooza abantu 2 nga ate nabo battiddwa na mundu so kiraga nti ate munaye embeera eno ekyagendera ddala mu maaso yadde nga twabaddeko wano olw'eggulo nga tuwayawayamuko lwaki ate okutta kw'emundu kuweyongedde munnange embeera nno ekyagendera ddala mu maaso tunagamba nti bwavu obuli mu bantu oba ate abakwata mundu oba abalina emundu oba abalina access ku guns bo be batayina nnyo mutima gulumirirwa nti akasente katono nnyo asobola okuhayaringa out emundu nga tategedde oba tabuuzizza oli kyagenda kugikozesa because but anyway why would one hire a gun for just a particular day or a night you would wonder so no tujja kubiriza nnyo security organs baddemu oba bakolemu bu trainings nga ate bakutira abantu bwabwe abakwata emundu ku bulabe ki obuli mu giving out the gun naddala ku muntu atali licensed kubanga akwata emundu ku nsonga y'aba medical interns banono bavuddeyo ne bagamba nti ate kati kaboolekere kooti balabanga beekalakaasiza ne beekalakaasa naye nga te okusaba kwabwe tekuddibwamu bano nga bakulembeddwamu Dr. Judith Nalukwago olunaku lw'eggulo bavuddeyo ne petitioninga court nga basaba permission okufairinga a representative suit against the government nga baja accusinga okufairinga okubanga ate baba deployinga mu malwaliro ag'enjawulo okulaba nti ate bakakalabya emirimu gyabwe omukyalo ono Dr. Judith Nalukwago yabadde yawerekeddwako banne abalala 3 era n'ategeeza nti ba applicants basukkawo awo bali 136 munkaaga era ono n'agamba nti omukulu wanabakkiriza ne bafailinga sooti yaabwe baagala government mu byo bwe baagala government eba deploying as soon as possible okulaba nti ate ba mitigating labor crisis eri mu malwaliro nti abantu tebafiibwako naye nga ate ba medical interns we bali bulungi nnyo nga ate bo government efailinze okubanga eba deploying ate nga we bali era omukyalo yabadde tasalibwako omusale yagambye nti bo siba kuzikiza paka government ekoze ku nsonga zaabwe nti ate era bo balwanirira esente z'abazadde baabwe ez'abasomesa for 5 years nga bali ku matendekero okubanga bakuguka mu profession gye bakugukamu. Era nategeeza nti mu bo ba complaints mulimu bananses, mulimu abantu bangi nnyo, era nategeeza nti basaba gavumenti ekole ku nsonga zaabwe ng'ate munaye ekiwundu tekinnasamba ddagala. Tujja kuvaako eyo tugendeko wali eri. Ambassador wa China yavuddeyo n'ategeeza n'assuringa Uganda government n'agitegeeza nti bo as China as a country siba ku imposing sanctions ku Uganda olwa Homosexuality Act 2023 omukulu President Museveni gye yali yakasaako omukono. Era n'ategeeza nti bo China as a country bo bali ku nsonga ndala nnyo, era their mandate here in Uganda doesn't involve ebintu ebirala nga domestic issues nga okubaga amateeka. Era bo bategeeza nti Uganda as a country tebalina kubeera nga ate bagitataganya oba nga they get involved mu internal mu ebintu ebiri internal ebya government byebirwaninga ng'okubaga amateeka okulaba nti ate protecting culture n'ebintu ebirala. Omukulu ono yavuddeyo n'atutegeeza nti era bo bakwongera okuba nga investinga mu Uganda era siba kusaawo any sanctions ku Uganda olwa homosexuality bill. Era bategeeza nti Uganda as a government ina ensonga zaayo okubanga protecting our culture as we Ugandans and our morality. Era bo ne batugamba nti they respect a sovereign state as Uganda ate era ne respecting our internal affairs as a country. Era bo ne bategeeza nti bo bakusesira ku infrastructure, ku energy ne manufacturing sectors ebirala ebiba bigenze maaso bo tebibakwatako kubanga eyo si ensonga eba yabaleeta mu Uganda. Era ono omukulu yayogedde ebintu bino olunaku lw'eggulo ng'ali mu kuwa update progress ku 44 billion shilling project ezagendererwamu okulaba nti ate zitumbula agriculture oba ebyobulimi wano mu Uganda. Wadde nga omukulu Joe Biden ye yavaayo n'awandiikira abantu be n'abategeeza nti baddemu bekkaanye obuyambi bwe badde nga bawa Uganda naddala obugendererwamu okulaba nti ate buweweezaako abo abalwadde ba HIV AIDS. Era ono olunaku lw'eggulo yavuddeyo n'awaaka travel advisory ku bantu aba intending okutravelinga to Uganda n'abategeeza nti temumala gagenda mu Uganda. That is a very big statement. Era n'ategeeza nti bo they might face any okubanga prosecutingibwa if they identify as homosexuals oba okulaba nti ate they face harassment because Ugandans tetutwaniriza nnyo bantu ba homosexuals oba kubanga imprisoningibwa nti olw'ensonga nti they identify as one. Kino nno kireka wa Uganda we might face some sanctions oba okulaba nti ate ebintu ebirala tuyinza okubanga tubifiirwa naddala obuyambi mu nsonga ezimu yadde nga omukulu president w'ensi eno President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni yavaayo n'atutegeeza ati no one is going to move us. Era ate teri muntu agenda kubanga atukanga oba tutiisatiisa okulaba nti ate biiru eno act eno tugijjawo. Anategeeza nti he has a right as the President of the Republic of Uganda okulaba nti ate avaayo na protecting culture y'ensi ye. Era nategeeza nti he does not regret anything okuba nti ye yasaininga act eyo eya homosexuality 2023. Kino nno munnange gwe munnayuganda olowooza kitulekawa abantu beeyo naddala bamagulumere bwe bavaayo ne batu imposingako sanctions olowooza does it affect the government or it affects the common person? Kati no weebuuza what is the intention okulaba nga batuwa obuyambi buno? Do they have hidden agendas nti ate ebimu ku byo yali ku promoting homosexuality nti ate ate bwe twavaayo ne togaana homosexuality ate obuyambi bwabwe ne batandika okubusalako. Ebyo byonna bibuuzo ebyetaaga answer. You can also do your own analysis novaayo ne conclusions zizo gwenga omuntu. Olunaku lw'eggulo yabadde International Albinism Day era nga ate ebikujjuko byabaddewo naddala sides ey'Ejjinja nga bakuza olunaku lw'aba albino. Era bano bavuddeyo ne babeerako bye basaba gavumenti ebayambemuko kusinziira nti akasana oba omusana guba affectinga nnyo nnyini ddala. Omukulu Peter Okacha Kasolongo ono ye city mayor w'ekibuga Jinja yavuddeyo n'asaba gavumenti okulaba nga ate including people with disabilities in all sectors oba in all public programs okulaba nti ate bareducinga ku stigma. Era ebikujjuko bino ebyabadde ku Source of the Nile Union ebyategekeddwa Source of the Nile Union of Persons Living with Disabilities yavuddeyo ne bategeezaako n'asaba n'agamba nti abantu bano they are not disabled people but they are people who are gifted differently. Era omukulu ow'ekibiina ekyo ekya SUNAPA omukulu Peter Ojik yavuddeyo n'ategeeza nti bo baavaayo ne bafuna ka trail gun machine. Kanono nga ka machine kabayambako okubaninga cancers eziri ku mibiri gyabwe. Era n'ategeeza nti ka machine akamu bwe kati kagula $6,000,000 eza Uganda wano. Era n'asaba gavumenti ebayambeko okulaba nga bapurchasinga bu machines obwo okuba bungi kubanga n'ategeeza nti bakaregisteringa abantu 22 abalina skin cancer naye nga 18 ku bo ba recoverings ekintu kyagamba nti kino ba recoverings olw'obuyambi lwa machine gani eno gye baagula naye nga n'ategeeza nti machine eno eriemu so beetaaga okubanga gavumenti ebayambako okulaba nti ebapurchasingira bu machine buno okulaba nti bareducinga skin cancer mu bantu bano aba albino ndowooza mu njogera ennyangungu. Era ono yavuddeyo n'ategeeza n'asaba gavumenti okulaba nga ate ebizigo bya sunscreen ebibeera nga ebikendeezaako omusolo era n'agisaba nti gavumenti yeetaaga okutegeera nti sunscreen si just bizigo wabula kintu ekiyambako omuntu ekitaasa obulamu bw'omuntu twandiyise eddagala nti ate sunscreen ono ayamba nnyo abantu abayina oba albino oba abazaalibwa ne albinism. So munnange n'ategeeza nti gavumenti naddala UNBS erina okulaba nti ate ekendeezaako nnyo mitendera gye bayitamu nga beekenneenya sunscreen ono olw'ensonga nti ate munnaye ebizigo bino bye biyambako abantu abo okulaba nga ate babeerawo. Era ono yategeeza nti ekizigo kya sunscreen kiri enjingira wakati w'Emitwalo 2 n'Emitwalo 4 so kisinziira gwe obusobozi bwe buli. So nno n'ategeeza nti gavumenti erina okubanga ebayambako okulaba nti ate they accessible sunscreen for free kubanga lino ddagala si bizigo bo nga gavumenti bwe balowooza nti ng'abe bagamba nti omulwadde wa slim agenda mu ddwaliro n'afuna ARVs for free nabo basaba sunscreen abaweebwe ku bwereere kubanga ddagala okubanga ate liba protectinga obutafuna skin cancer. Nga naatera okumaliriza amawulire gange ag'olunaku lwaleero ngenda kugendako sides eri Embarara nonno ku ddwaliro ly'Embarara bavuddeyo ne intensifyinga security olunaku lw'eggulo olw'abantu abateeberezebwa okuba ba agents ba witch doctors okuba nti ate beetanidde eddwaliro lino nti munnange nno bano bajja ne boogerezeganya n'aba babeera balabirira abalwadde nga babagamba munnange gwe jangu eno wantu ogenda kuwonerawo waliwo omusawo w'ekinnansi agenda kuwonya bulungi nnyo ne babba abalwadde mu malwaliro ate ne babatwala mu ba witch doctors okulaba mbonno bakola ki babawonya. Kino ne bategeeza nti kyongedde ku muwendo gw'abantu oguli mu kufa olw'ensonga nti ate abantu babadde tebamanyi. Era ono n'ategeeza omwogezi w'eddwaliro yategeezezza nti bano okusingira ddala batagetinga accident patients olw'ensonga nti waliyo abasawo abagamba nti bayunga amagumba in the traditional way. So nti bajja ne bagamba wamenyesa okugulu wano genda malawo myezi 3 naye nze nina omusawo wange asobola okuyunga eggumba ly'onoowona mu mwezi gumu. So no ne babba abalwadde mu malwaliro ne babatwala mu bawe kidokitazi okulaba nga ati nno ate mbonno babawonya. Kino nno n'ategeeza nti kintu kikyamu nnyo era y'ensonga lwaki intensifying security ku Mbarara Main Hospital. Era omukulu ono communications officer omukulu Halson Kagure yavuddeyo n'atutegeeza nti recent incident yali ya middle aged woman eyagenda n'asanga omulwadde eyakubibwa stroke n'amugamba nti gwoli wano naye tusobola okuba nga tukujjawo ne tukutwala eri ew'omusawo wange ow'ekinnansi n'akuwonya. Era n'ategeeza nti ekyayamba ku mulwadde ono nti bamusaba emiliyoni 3 nga tebannamujja mu ddwaliro ze yali talina kwe kugenda ne yeebuuzaako oba n'aloopa mu bakulu b'eddwaliro omukyalo ono n'akwatibwa. So ne banaye tubeere bulindaala abantu bali mu kukozesa every opportunity okulaba nti bafuna ssente. So no munnange bakuyita kwebereramu weebereremu nga tonnakkiriziganya kugenda mu ddiiri n'omuntu. First find out whether it is a genuine one. Nga tonnakkiriza kujja mu ddwaliro, first find out olowooza which doctor ye teyeetaaga ssente, olowooza ndaakuwonya. So nno ebibuuzo weetaaga okuba n'ebingi nnyo n'ofuna ne answers nga tonnakola certain decisions. Olunaku lwali tugenda kubanga ate twogera nsonga za environment. Guest wange yatuuse dda, so ngenda kubanga ate mpumulamuko katono ne gatibweko guest ow'olunaku lwaleero n'omumbejja Luwedde Lilian. Program yaffe etambule bulungi nnyo. A very good morning. Bwe tukomawo tugenda kubeera ne quote of the day.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hello beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
Naku zino twajjirwa flat tummy. Tukyayambalako ku ngoye obutukwata.
Wajja n'akubody shaminga. Speak up. Gendo ba confronting obagambe ekyo kyemukola si kirungi.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Digitalk. Mukwano gwange gwali topic kiri wandyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
Nga kize tata wange amanyira nkola n'obuvunanyizibwa nyina bungi. Era agezaako n'anyamba-yambako yanda.
Naye kumukubira kumubuuzaako. Noga mama we bali kunzaala.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships?
Come and visit me. Simanyanga I miss you bichi. Especially embeera y'obudde si nnungi.
Naye n'omuntu akwagalira mu season yaba takwagala ze nkubuulira.
Just be commenting nga topic yonna gyandyagadde twogereko tujjako tujogera ku the Alternative Digitalk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, recorder. Did you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by ALternativeDigitalk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by ALternativeDigitalk.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Mr. Nahurira Ronald. I hope I've pronounced it very well. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about issues to do with climate justice, environment justice, and a lot in that realm. Okay. We are live on our social media platforms. That is the Alternative Uganda and Digitalk TV on Facebook. That is where actually you can catch us live. In case you want to be part of the discussion, just drop in your comments. We'll be reading the comments before we come to the end of the show. And our YouTube channel is the Alternative Uganda. So those are the platforms that you can find as a Munanga. Luzungu lwenjogeddeko lumala kati kanswitching eziri mu Uganda. Kutegeeza nti olunaku olwaleero nsinga zitugenda okwogerako ensonga zikwatagana ku climate oba obutonde bw'ensi, environmental justice, climate justice. Byetugenda okuba nga twogerako wano mu ggwanga erya Uganda. So ayagala okubeera ekitundutundu ku programu eno emunnanga ate osobola okuba nga otugoberera ku page zaffe Alternative Uganda TV ku Facebook ate tusobola okuba nga munnange tutambulira wamu ate nno naawe obeera ekitundutundu ku programu ate ey'olunaku olwaleero. So Mumbeja Farida katwe quote of the day, then ayanirize n'omugenyi tutambulira olunaku olwaleero. Mukyala Farida, good morning.
A very good morning to you.
Bagita Afro tint ya Afro ki? Okay.
I don't know about the Afro tint, but I am an African woman. Okay. So I embrace everything African. As long as it is African, I'll take it up. because I am an African woman.
You're looking beautiful. Madinginaga handsome, so sorry, but you're looking beautiful.
So Lillian, where did you sleep?
At home.
Maybe somehow I am looking like a man.
No. I apologize.
A very good morning once again. You are watching the Mighty Drive. Farida Bikobere is my name. I am with Omombeja Lillian Luwede with Mr. Ronald. I hesitate to mention the other first name for as long as I am not sure of the pronunciation. I don't want to offend my guest. So he will pronounce it for me and I will pick it from him. So ngenda kanga njogera Luganda. Oluzungu lina ngeri lugendo goba ba viewers bange. So kankuba Oluganda twogere ensonga z'obutonde. Songa za environment gwokozeewo kyokulaba nga ate munayo taasa obutonde tulabye obulango bwa taasa obutonde. What have you done? We're even advertising here taasa obutonde. How are you managing your plastics? Ebintu byoli mukozesa ewaka okasasira afuse kasasiro mu kibuga Kampala one abamanyi kiteezi abatagenda nga yoko. That is the footage. Just look at that. Cheche twogerako laba entumu cheche bayite entumu ya kasasiro. Abantu bali eyo, people are crying of not having jobs. Look at young men and women who are sorting kasasiro there. Balonda ebipapula ne babiteeka wokka, obufera ne babuteeka wawoka, obuchupa ne babuteeka wokka gwata ina mulimu. It is better you go to Chitezi. Go to Chitezi and start sorting kasasiro. Ate eri munaye munange it depends on your energy. Ojja kukola ebintu binyinyo omala okusortinga gendo tunde. Bakuwa akasente onyuka n'akasente ko tolinda mwezi totuula waka ngolinda omulimu naye bachelors tebagirya. Ojja kutula naye ewuwo olw'okubanza nyina bachelors ngonyoma emirimu simanya biki bachelors tebagirya. At the end of the day landlord agenda kugoba mu nyumba oba ojja kusigala ewa maama wo yeevuma okusomesa. Agambe sente zange oba ebintu byange byonna nabitu nga nsomesa omwana. But what have I gained? Omwana atudde waka afuusa omugugu. It is very important fenga febe basomesezza okulaba nti twenonyeza ekyokola natandika okuyambako abazadde baffe here and there. Our quote of the day is, let us do our small bit to make the world a cleaner and healthier place to live in. Let us do our small bit to make the environment or the world a cleaner and healthier place to live in. What are you doing? You can plant a tree. Plant a tree munange tekyetaagisa mangi nnyo, tekyetaagisa kintu kirala kyonna, gwefuna ekintu kyonna simba ewakaawo. Abantu mulina compounds nnene naye nga teziriimu miti. Simbawo omuti ewaka, simbawo kale omuti gw'ekibala, ovacado oba omuyembe, obeereko n'omuti ewuwo. Luli twalaba kesisi engegamba nti gwalina omuti mu compound yo tokkirizibwa kugusala oba kugutema unless ngofunye clearance from KCCA. Wano mu kibuga Kampala. So mukwano as a way to fight kubanga tulwanyisa climate okubanga tetukola bubi nnyo. Beerako nekyokola gwe ng'omuntu wamala okunywa amazzi akacupa tokasuka mu mwala. Beerako ne wookateeka abaana bano abalonda obucupa bwe banaakasanga osobola okuba nti now you are playing your part in protecting the environment. I now take the opportunity to welcome our guest of the day. You are welcome. This is the Mighty Drive. You could say hello to our viewers. We are happy to have you.
Thank you, Farida. Thank you, Princess, for having me, for inviting me to this show. Hi all the viewers, my name is Ronald Nahurira. I am a resident associate at Green Deal. Green Deal is a youth-led outfit where we do work around climate justice, environmental justice, but we also challenge abuse of power through public interest litigation. So in a nutshell, that is what we basically do at Green Deal.
So so when you say Green Deal is an outfit, what exactly do you mean?
What I mean by an outfit is it's an organization. Okay. But in it being an organization, it's hell-bent or inclined to doing the various works that I've stated.
Wano yogera oluzungu abantu webategeera naye outfit omuntu ajja kulowooza kyambalo. So when does Green Deal start? Mutandika ddi?
Twatandika emirimu gyaffe mu butongole mwaka gw'2020 nga lockdown ereetera otandika awo mu February nga twatandikira emirimu gyaffe. who are inspired by the noble cause of wanting to conserve the environment. Obutonde bwolaba fe tulabanga strategic resource, just like the way it is. Obutonde butuwa emirimu bwe tubukozesa sustainably, butulabirira. We, like the people, because the air we breathe comes from trees. Trees are a component of the environment. So fe twavayo tugamba obutonde bwe tubanga tetubulwaniridde oba bwe tubanga tetufuddeeyo kulaba nga tuguse eddoboozi abantu okumanya omugaso gw'obutonde, then we will be doing a disservice to the generations to come, to the children of our children. So we took it upon ourselves as a generation tugamba katuveeyo eddoboozi kuuma obutonde.
Wow.
Yes.
Why Green Deal? You would have chosen maybe something else, but why Green Deal in particular?
You mean the name? Green Deal, just like the way you hear it, again, drawing it from background, the real deal now is the environment. If we have to conserve nature, if we have to take care of the coming generations, then we must take care of the environment. And the environment is typically green, though water may be blue, the oceans, just like they reflect. But then basically nature obutonde buli green. So erinnya twalijja kugamba nti obutonde obusinga bwa green, then tukozesa ekigambo green, then we twava nga tutuuma organization yaffe green.
Nanti
Well,
deal ye green.
No, as green and then deal.
Yes, Nanti the deal is green.
Okay.
So the deal for the young people, for kyetuyinza okukola ng'abaana abato bo omulembe guno omuto, kwe kugamba kyetuyinza okukola kwe kulwanirira obutonde
kubanga busigala bwa kiragala.
That's the deal for us.
Wow. Where are you located?
We are located in Ntinda, Minister's Village, Corporation Road.
So kati omuntu bw'abasa ujja abasanga.
Jatusanga.
So ayagala okubeera part of you. Ayita mu kkubo ki?
We have school chapters. Abaana abato nga bwe tugambye balina omulimu ogw'amaanyi ogw'okukola mu kulwanirira obutonde. So we have founded school chapters gamba nti abaana abato abazaaliddwa, all the young people in schools, universities and colleges bakola nga bamanyi omugaso gw'okulabirira obutonde n'okukuuma obutonde. So we have opened up school chapters in different institutions of learning where we coordinate and instill into the young people the culture of conserving the environment, right? But also we have different programs. We have a program of public interest litigation. Kyekitegeeza nti bwe wabanga waliwo ba factory, maybe eyonoono obutonde, for example, it's producing fumes that are affecting the environment, then fe tuvaayo ne tugamba no, that's not the way it's supposed to be done, right? You are supposed to follow the due process of the law. So we are going to take you to courts of law because you polluted the environment. Due to pollution, many communities have suffered, right? Or perhaps if government gives out a license to factories to do work, but this license has not followed the due process of the law, we still have to hold government accountable and these institutions accountable. Government tebakutte kkubo amateeka nga bwe gagamba. So fe tulinga bakalabaalaba kulaba nti emirimu gyonna gavumenti gyekola gibeera mu kkubo ettuufu ng'amateeka bwe gagamba. So in case government or these institutions flout the due processes of the law or the processes that are being set by law, fe tugamba no. We have a responsibility as a generation, and the fact that there are courts of law that are being set to challenge all these abuses, we definitely take all these institutions and government to court.
Ogambe muli bakalabaalaba, yes. Naye don't you think mwe bakalabaalaba mwagala kujja bakulu bali mu mulimu? for example, those companies abakozesa plastics, packaging ebyokunywa mu plastic bottles, packaging ebyokulya mu plastic containers. Don't you think mwagala kubajjamu mulimu because omuleta ensonga ya environment mubanga abagala okubalemesa kye bakola?
Well, fe abaana abato twagala eggwanga lyetunyumirizaamu. Twagala okulaba eggwanga where tulina sente, abantu balina emirimu, eggwanga ligenda mu maaso. So we are not saboteurs of development. Naye ffe kye tugamba nti bw'obanga oliwa packaginga refreshments or beverage in plastic bottles, can you put out mechanism through which you're going to stop these plastic bottles from ending up in water channels, from polluting our environment, right? Mu ddoboozi eri waliwo organizations ezibaddewo nga zidemandinga nti ebitongole bino byonna biteekewo engeri gye zigenda okuconservinga environment in the way that plastic bottles tezigenda mu myala, ending up mu ttaka lyaffe. So kyova olaba kati you did play a clip yandabye clip abaana bagenda ne balonda ebicupa ebyo ne baddayo ne babirecyclinga, right? Fe kyetugamba we as ffe nga bakabalabalaba, just like I did say, we are demanding from these manufacturers tugamba, you guys, the fact that you're producing plastics, can you reduce these plastics from ending up in our drainage channels or even them polluting the environment? Fe tugamba, don't stop the business, no, but can you do it responsibly, right? So that's our voice to the manufacturers, most of these multinational companies that produce beverages, but also if it were possible, we will have alternative means of packaging these beverages, for example, like glass bottles, because then even when we say recycle or maybe reuse, it is very, very hard not to find a plastic bottle in the water channel based on the way the qualitative character of our people. Sibavunanyizibwa nnyo okugamba nti bw'aba amaze okunywa amazzi ajja kukwata akacupa agenda akateeke mu trash can. What they normally do if he's driving, for example, to Entebbe on the express highway, bw'amala okunywa amazzi akacupa akagenda kajamu akasuule wabweru w'emmotoka. So you never know where that plastic bottle is going to end up. Webaba tebakalonze kagenda ending up mwala. So wekiba kyandibadde nga kisoboka, actually what we are demanding for is, can these companies embrace alternative means of packaging away from plastics?
Which alternatives are there? I get using glass bottles.
Yes.
But wetwasookera ne balyoka baleeta these plastic bottles. Edda nga ogenda ku dduuka ogula soda nga bakuwa that glass bottle nga bakugamba leeta empty. Oba oba togenda kuleeta empty, tuula onywere wano. And then someone is like, nyina wendaga very, very fast. Sisobola kutuula nywere wano soda ate nga ki nga nyinako wenyina okuba nga ngenda. So they had, I think that's why they resorted to plastic bottles okwanguya obulamu oli olukakwata atambula butambuzi n'agenda.
Well, sisuubira nti for omuntu okubeerako, cause njala kuwa ekyokulabirako, twalina airtime okutakula owa kaadi, ng'ogenda ku dduuka n'owaayo sente ne bakuwa kaadi n'otakula enamba n'ogiteeka mu simu n'ofuna sente. Naye ekintu ekyo nakyo kyali kikoze obutonde, kuze obupapula buva mu miti, and at the end of the day wali osanga nga it's all polluting the environment. So ne bakyanyinga means. In the nascent of it all, wekyali kyakatandika, there was some resistance. Amaloboozi gava abantu nga bagamba kino tunakisobola. By the end of the day, they embraced it. So nga bw'ogambye bw'oba okiwulira nti yes, it's easier. Nze if I'm traveling, for example, from Mbarara to Kampala, nentuuka Lukaya nga njagala kunywa ku mazzi, I just buy a plastic bottle. Naye bwe tubanga tunaabeera omulembe oguli responsible, omulembe ogulwanirira, ogulaba ewala, tulina okufiringa, tulina okulwana ng'abantu ne tumanya nti, for example, plastic bottles zino zipolluting environment. Lwaki togula water bottle yo? bw'oba otuuse ku kiosk for example nga lukaya n'ogula amazigo in a glass bottle n'ogateeka mu water bottle yo no continue nga nejja neyo to Kampala. So ekintu kino kyagala of course buli kimu ekibanga kyakatandika bw'obeera okirowooza olowooza maybe it's hard, but when you try it and initially embrace it olaba nti kintu kya bulijjo. Kati you may wonder for example ensi nga Rwanda, how do they manage without kaveera? Naye ffe wano ewaffe bwe kugamba nti akaveera kaveewo oyinza olowooza buli kimu kyonna tekigenda kusoboka genda mu maaso nga akaveera tekaliwo. Naye waliwo ensi ezitakozesa kaveera naye ate nga zigenda mu maaso. So nze ngamba nti yes, bw'oba okiwulira nga bw'ogambye it's convenient, but then we need to be responsible, and being responsible means taking up all these options nkugambye nga for example gula water bottle yo. Myself when I no longer use this plastic bottle. If you don't have a dispenser, I will not take water. And I think the other day I was we had a training at Golden Tulip. So most of these hotels have embraced glass bottles. They no longer use plastic bottles.
But even when it is a dispenser, there is a plastic bottle that is having water on top of it.
Yes, you see, when you have a dispenser with one plastic bottle, it's going to serve 30 people, right? So it's not the same as when you give 30 plastic bottles, 30 people. Obo okitegeera Madam Farida. Ekangambe nti oyina dispenser, oyina water bottle emu. Ate water bottle eyo bw'oba ogenda ogula amazzi ogizaayo ne bakuwa endala.
So we have a dispenser that is having one big plastic bottle, but it has small glasses, disposable glasses.
No.
Disposable glasses.
I wouldn't advocate for disposable glasses. Still, njagamba nti buli omu abeere ne water bottle.
Kati nga wano ku mulimu.
Yes, beera ne Farida beera ne water bottle yo.
It is plastic still.
No, it's not mandatory. It must be plastic. It can be clay. It can be perhaps metallic. Naye teyina beera plastic. Naye kyengezaako okugamba nti bw'obeera ne water bottle emu nga ya dispenser, ebeera osobola osavinga abantu 30. Ate bw'oba ogenda kugula bottle endala ey'amazzi ga dispenser ogizaayo ne bakuwa endala. So that water bottle is highly probable nti tebajja gitrashinga egende mu mwala oba egende mu ttaka eyonoone the fertility of the soil. Yes.
Naye tutunuulidde economy yaffe wano eno, how many people can afford having a dispenser?
Well, newetaba dispenser as relating to workspace setting. For example, alternative wano bwebanga eri workspace setting muyinza okukozesa dispenser. Naye webeera nga for example you can still embrace the same, let everybody have a water bottle. I'm doing a fellowship with Kiza and Mugisha Advocates. Naye ku mulimu tetukozesa buchupa. No, buli omu ayina water bottle ye. You understand? The institution.
How about the visitors?
Never visitor bayina bottles zabo. So woboze.
So you
so where's the bottle gye mumpera mwe bayani? Like
yachitongole mwachikula
mwagiteekawo.
Yeah, institution.
Nti abagenyi kwe banywera.
Yes, abagenyi kwe banywera. Woboze.
Temutuse tulwaza COVID.
Nedda mukwano. Institution are taking care of the sanitation and the health of our customers.
But looking at the plastics, yes, indeed. And there are any other uses of plastics?
Well, plastics are also important. For example, plastics will also nga bola abazikunganya ne bazizaayo bazikola mu tails. Most of these plastics bazikola mu tails, bazikola mu bags, bazizimba mu amayumba. There is a way architectures ngeri gye assembling and zikola ebisenge. They can be used for design. So plastics zino omugaso, but then fe ngaba environmentalist ngeri lwaki tetuza advocatinga gamba nti singa tubadde tuli eggwanga we abantu bafaayo nnyo okulaba nti plastics zino bazidisposinga bulungi ffe tetwandibadde na buzibu bwa plastics naye ekizibu kye tulina nti omuntu omala okunywa akacupa k'amazzi okasuula busuuzi wabweru w'ennyumba then the wind blows out that plastic bottle and it ends up in a water channel.
So don't you think instead of advocating for the stop of using plastics, we should advocate for proper disposal of plastics?
Well,
maybe we go to the communities, teach them how to dispose of plastics. Because plastics we cannot say, plastics, do you know? Obuzibu obuli mu kugula soda wechupa. Oyina okutwalayo empty. Ate bw'otatwalayo empty soda w'olukumi bakuguza 1500. Kati awo kirina economic implication. Naye singa tuyigiriza abantu how to handle these plastics instead of advocating for okukomya producing a plastic. Anga plastics zirina emigaso mingi nnyo. Like yes, we understand zina impacts ku butonde, but still zina importance endala. Don't you think it is better we go the other way?
Well, nze ndowooza nti sensitization nagwo kubo lirungi abantu okumanya kye basaanidde okukola ne waste eno ya plastics kubanga of course nga bwe nkugambye bwe baba bagirecyclize ne bakola materials kiba kisobola okuyamba eggwanga. So ngamba nti sensitizing the masses, creating awareness about proper disposal of plastic waste is equally important. And I'm glad most of environmentalists have been doing that, sensitizing the masses. Don't tosula buchupa anywhere you find. Actually, nemmandoze inane teke ligamba nti buli motoka ino kubeera mu ne can
basket.
Yes.
Sole mu kasasiro.
Yes. So kati ekibulawo abantu okumanya nti akachupa kano obo kasudde nga toka disposinze bulungi kajja kukosanga omuntu. Kozi Farida waba kikoze n'ekikola Princess n'akikola oba bufuse buchupa busatu. In a month that's 90 bottles.
Yeah.
So what happens? They're going to block drainage channels before you understand Kampala is flooding.
Oh, Kampala flooded yesterday.
I mean, it's one of the causes of flooding. Poor waste management. Ekireetera Kampala mu Kampala. So nze ngamba nti yes, sensitization ya mugaso nnyo. Naye that will be a long term achievement because botandika okusensitizinga today. You're going to use a lot of resources. N'abantu okutwala enjiri eyo okubayinga out message kijja kutwala obudde bungi. So that's why we are saying for the benefit of the environment, why can't we find other means that are going to replace plastics? Right? So chetugamba. Anyway, we will then see what the government has to do about it because for us we are pushing and demanding.
Okay.
Yeah, and plastics zino abantu batera okulowooza nti buchupa bwokka n'akaveera it's a plastic, right? And when you look at our national environment
sowani zino waliwo sowani za plastic.
Tuna plastic plates, plastic cups, basins, jerry cans, zona plastics.
They are all plastics. Naye ekizibu kya plastic gwe tulina owakacupa because of the
so wakacupa wabutwa nnyo oba wabulabe nnyo singa ono ow'ekidomola.
Actually ow'ekidomola ali wabutwa nnyo kubanga ye plastic composition w'ekidomola w'amaanyi nnyo. Naye where it becomes where it doesn't become really a threat so much to the environment is that omuntu ekidomola kyakikozesa for some good time. So I'm looking at yes before like that
okwononeka kubera nga kisula.
Yes, nakidecomposing. Naye obucupa bw'engamba ffe bwe tulinako olutalo ate bwe tulwanyisa ennyo twegamba nti akacupa
one time use olunaku nyiza okunywa obucupa bw'amazzi buna
oba ne 10 so kati ekizibu kye tulina nti bw'oba onywedde amazzi nota disposing akachupa ako bulungi kagenda tukosa ffe ng'abantu.
Oba we advocate babere nga bafulumya bichupa bino ebya 2 liters buno obutono babu phasing out. Sasa omuntu agula ekichupa kye kimu kale katugeze nga kumacha nekimutambuza nakulamba by the time they reach home they know where to dispose them.
No. Actually, message yetu sigamba nti you're going to pollute 1 bottle a day. For us, the message is
anyway,
pollution.
We are minimizing the quantity that's getting.
Yes, you
are actually reducing.
Yes, you are reducing.
Yes, because kati ekitongole kifulu buno obutono bufuluma bungi nnyo nosinga ebinene. Because abantu abasinga bagula buno obutono ak'olukumi, lukumi
and
bitano,
it is affordable. Nakati wotawala ku kinene, a few people will afford 12 okugulamu amazzi ebyo bidomola bimeka.
Awo actually oli ajja kugamba kanve n'amazzi gange waka mu water bottle ngende nago ku mulimu.
Nedda fe message tuyina Princess and Farida tugamba nti plastic pollution inovaawo regardless whether it's 1 bottle or 10 bottles. So for us, we are not looking at the quantity in these circumstances. Ogamba nti embi okunywa obucupa butaano obutono, so kanywemu ecupa emu oba ecupa 2 instead of polluting 5 plastic bottles more. I'm going this time to use 2 or 1 or 2. No, for us the message is, can we do away with plastic pollution? The other day, nakutano June omwezi guno, it was International Environment Day, and the message was beat plastic pollution.
Yes.
Plastic is there are microplastic components in the air that you breathe in. So bobosa gwetoyinza kubulaba ezo components oyinza ziraba n'amaaso go. They are microscopic in nature.
You can't even feel them.
You can't even feel them. Toyinza nazikwata n'ozifeelinga. Naye bagamba nti abantu abasinga okufa cancer ennaku zino, it's because of those microplastic components.
Oh.
Right? And microplastic components ezo ziva ku poor plastic management. Right? So bwetubanga tunataasa obulamu bw'abantu baffe, we need to
do away
with plastics. Yes.
Completely.
Wow. Yes. Because kati, just go to the shores of Lake Victoria and see what is happening to Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria is not breathing anymore. Full of plastic bottles. The other day I was in Bara, River Urgues is choking on plastics. So it's our duty. As environmentalists, as citizens, because kati Lake Victoria we're far. I mean, where are we going to get water? Safe drinking water. Amazzi get called some Kampala now when the government Lake Victoria. So if we pollute it with plastics, where are we going to get clean, safe drinking water? River Urgues we're far. How are our people going to survive without water? So our message is a message of survival. I mean, if we don't really conserve the environment, then we are fighting against ourselves as the people.
Noza tetugenze mu kuwummulamuko. Katugende mu kuwummulamuko essaawa ziri 3 zennyini bwe tukomawo tukyali ku nsonga za environment. What do you think? Do you think we should do away with the plastics? Okay, yes.
Is it even possible?
Twali tubaddewo okwo nga tetulina bucupa obwo. Did we die? No, we can still go back. A very good morning. You're watching the Mighty Drive.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Fellow citizens, following the sequence of events, Uganda seems to be at political crossroads.
I'm not a servant of anybody.
Madam, I know the law.
As such, ALternativeDigitalk brings you the Interface Show with retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besuje.
Let's keep on the same page on ALternativeDigitalk,
as he gives you the alternatives on the transition question, rule of law, human rights and freedom, youth inclusion in governance, economic stagnation, as he confirms.
I'll be always here, Saturday from 10 a.m. in the morning. Be there.
Don't miss the live discussion on the Alternative Uganda, Digitalk TV Facebook pages, and the Alternative Uganda YouTube channel.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
Looking for a pair of shoes? Les Hub Stores has a wide range of selection for unisex footwear. We have the best quality of all brands at pocket-friendly prices, and we make deliveries countrywide. Just place your order or reach us on 0772 08 0090. You can also check up at Les Hub Stores on all our social media platforms. Les Hub, craft your own footprints.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, recorder. Did you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by ALternativeDigitalk.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Tukolekayo mukuwummulamuko kyalaba the mighty drive essaawa ziri 3 ewomanya ntuli mu kitundu kyaffe kya kubiri tugenda kubanga tutambulira ddala paka ssaawa 4. In this hour tubeera nga tusoma comments zammwe omugenyi waffe n'aziddamu bulungi nnyo tuli ku nsonga ya butonde. You as a person in your capacity, what have you done okulaba nti otaasa obutonde? Anyway, even when you sit in your sitting room and watch NBS nga bakuba taasa obutonde, do you even sobola otwana kifumiitirizaamu bategeeza ki? Because a lot of people see these adverts and don't understand them, and mwe mugenda maaso nakukuba bulango. Do the common person or the common people understand the message in these adverts? Era ekiraga nti babitegeeza is oba babitegeera is kulaba nti they act. Are they acting? Not. Is your advert making sense or making an impact? It is upon you. Nayenga chiba chikulu nnyo okulaba nti discussions zino eza environment muzijja mu boardrooms. Stop making Twitter spaces because people who are using plastics are not on Twitter. Abantu abali ku Twitter know how to dispose of their plastics. People who are not doing proper dispose of plastics are not on Twitter. Bantu ba wansi agenda kwata kido agende wali ku dduuka agula amazzi g'ebitaano amale okunywa amazzi akacupa akasuule gy'aba akasudde. I implore everyone that is kutasaring the butonde that is advocating for the environment okulaba nti you move away from the big hotels, muve mu offices zammwe, mulekerawo okuwandiika reports, mugende eri abantu, the final consumers, because now mujja kuba mutuukidde ddala ku muntu yennyini ddala gwekikwatako akitegeere mu kimunnyonnyole. Olulimi lwa environment lulina engeri gye lukalubamu lwogeza ebigambo ebigumu nnyo. Talk to people in the language they understand. That is how we are going to manage this whole thing. Naye okugamba nti tulekerawo okuba plastic, it is something that we are not going to achieve. It sounds like it is not achievable. Do you think it is achievable, Ronald? Like, President w'eggwanga lino agenda kusayininga ku tteeka
erigaana okufulumya plastic wano Uganda.
Yeah, if we are deliberate as a people, it's not really something hard. Nze nkugamba nti omwenge guno abantu gwe banywa, Uganda we are ranked as the second alcohol consuming country in the whole world, next to Russia.
We are a happy people.
I agree, we are happy people. Now, just get to think how people do alcohol. In
you
Kampala,
see, alcohol is not like water.
In Kampala, no, it doesn't matter. Actually, people even don't drink water as much as you think. If you go in statistics, what are your statistics? I don't think Uganda is doing better in drinking water as we are doing in drinking alcohol. Yes. So, kyengezako kugamba omwenge guno gwolaba abantu banywa omwenge. Naye omwenge ogusinga abantu gwe banywa guli mu glass bottles.
Nekireka omwenge mu plastic tegwali nyumye.
Well, sinywa mwenge, so I don't know whether gwali nyumye or not. Naye kyengezako ensonga gyengezako ku emphasizing yogamba nti tuyinza okulivinga nga tetuyina plastics. Because we've lived an example by alcohol. Plastics have just come up. I think about plastic abomwenga bayigidde kuba amazzi n'aba soda, right? Naye all these years plastics zibadde tebazikozesa nnyo mwenge. Zibadde typically in the beverages sector, water and soda. Naye kati tulabye nti n'omwenge bagenda kati bapakinga mu plastics. Naye kyengeza ku emphasize gamba nti we can really do without plastics. Because if omwenge babadde nga bakiperfectinze obutakozesa plastics. So nze ngamba nti we can really do without plastics.
Katoro companies zino temwagala zijja mulimu because these companies zina abantu beziwa emirimu, and in Uganda tukabira ekintu ky'emirimu most of the times. Tukate tewali mirimu. Ate kati neegizeewo mwagala mulinga abagala okubajja mu ddiiro. Wamulinga abagala okubajja mu mirimu, because if you say that plastic bottle, we do away with plastics or plastic bottles completely. Mulinga abagala ate okujja abantu bano mu mirimu gyabwe gye bakola.
No. Tetwagala Coca-Cola or Pepsi or any other company bave mulimu gwe bakola. Kuba naffe kituyamba. Batuwa emisolo, batuwa emirimu, just like you've said. Naye twagala, they should strike a balance. We shouldn't promote one thing at the detriment of another. So it would be naive for us to think that let's promote the economic sense of the business, but also let's not
forget
the environment as well. So whereas we are promoting business, whereas we are promoting these companies to continue producing and maximize production, but they must also be cognizance of the environment. They must be mindful of conserving the environment. So can they be innovative of other means that they can use ahead of plastics, instead of plastics. So, we are not fighting anybody. For us, we are demanding accountability for the environment. The environment is like a mother. It's mothering us, you know. Just imagine, if the air is polluted with plastics, how it's going to affect us, you know? How many people can afford money of going to a hospital for cancer treatment? So few people.
A few people can
so
do that.
Just because we abantu abasinga kugamba nti they can't afford, the only approach is otwala ya preventive approach ogamba nti well the fact that we can't afford most of these best healthcare services, then let's prevent things that will cause us cancer, right?
Yeah, but no leader the video plays about environment and plastic pollution. What we could reduce, recycle,
and reuse.
Reuse, yes.
Implications there bine besatu kumuntu ne environment zeziriruda wa recycling or reducing yo tujogede ko recycling and then reusing.
Well, it has an implication because then if you take water and properly dispose of that plastic bottle, well, at the end of the day, there are going to be maybe 100,000 plastic bottles. So this other person who goes around picking these plastic bottles is going to take them to a recycling plant. So in a recycling plant, these plastic bottles are going to be recycled into something else. Just like I'd say, it could be tiles, it could be perhaps
fiber, could be
fiber
clothes.
or thank you. So if these plastics are collected out of our environment, it's perhaps going to save us some level of harm, right? So that's the importance of recycling. Gambanti, after collecting these bottles, they are out of the environment. They have gone back for recycling. Then reuse, most other companies, what they do is after collecting these plastic bottles, they reuse them, like they clean them up and use them again for the same purpose, right? Okay. So then that helps in these plastic bottles not ending up where they're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yes, so that then helps us in saving the environment.
Don't you think that is the solution we needed, or what those are the solutions we need? Okay, let's do away with plastics completely.
Yes, singa tubadde tusobola okipafectinga nga people really are responsible.
Tutandika butandisi like abantu okukitegeera nti okay plastic bottles zino ne wetuba tumaze ozikosa zisobola okubaako ekirala kyezivaamu. Siga nti olwo tubadde tukimanyi tutandika butandisi. Tukyakula bukuzi mu kino.
Well, oyinza ogamba tukyatandika butandisi, but the harm inflicted on the environment ye tejja kugamba batandika butandisi. The harm is grave in nature, right? So for us, that's why we are saying in order to stop this harm of destroying the environment.
You people of Green Deal, the solution you have for plastics is we do away with plastics completely.
That's you see, it's a faceted approach. We are saying much as you're reusing and
it is not helping.
Recycle is not helping. So can government push these manufacturers of these plastics to take up other
Tobagobe?
In simple terms. No. Message yafe si atubagobe. Message yafe ya comparing abana aba producing beverages okubaako ekirala kye bakozesa okupakinga.
So tutandika mu 2020 advocating for the environment. We want the environment green. What challenges have you faced?
Well, there are quite a number of challenges. Kuba kati olaba people are most into thinking that the environment talk is a bread and butter issue. We the people in the civil society, in the NGO world.
Because it is now the hot cake in town. Everyone is coming up to advocate for the environment.
Amazi zetongamba sina ttaka at the end of the day. So ngamba otya nti ettaka ligenda kuonene kale nze ndi muzigo gwange
sina nawe nnimira yadde
sina we nnima kati you know yes, so abantu obutamanya nti plastic eno bw'obutabeera na ttaka egenda mu nnyanja amazzi gonywa gava mu nnyanja. So abantu bano tebalina that okumanya, they are not informed about how wide the problem is, right? So you try to send out the message, but people embracing the message, I mean, it really takes some, it comes with some resistance from people.
N'okukyuka si bintu byangu, si bya lunaku lumu.
It's a process, it's a journey.
Yes, then I think the other challenge is, pushing stakeholders to act is also not something easy. Just like I've told you, is when you write out letters to NEMA, to Ministry of Water and Environment, KCCA, telling them, look, there's a problem here. Can you act as you're mandated to do by law? I mean, there will always be that pushback from government, because in most cases there is a conflict of interest, right? If the law says you're supposed to use, you're not supposed to use plastics, but again, companies are going ahead to use plastics. But then they are also looking at the economic aspect, because if this company is in operation, it maximizes sales. At the end of the day, they will have taxes, jobs as well, which is to their advantage. But now it creates a conflict of interest between the manufacturer, but also the voice that is pushing for the environment. So pushing these stakeholders to act is really, really a very hard thing. And it's one of the challenges that we have faced. Because you write a letter today telling NEMA, look, there is a challenge here. We need you guys to act. And you never get feedback from them, right? That alone is a challenge. Yes, so the other thing is, most of these challenges, environmental challenges, they are quite new phenomena. For example, an issue to deal with climate change. At climate change, there are very, very few people. So you need to go an extra mile to explain. You need to labor and explain
what
for
is climate change,
these people
to understand.
What are the causes of climate change. These things are scientific in nature. So making people to understand the science,
in them,
the intersectionality between climate change and destruction of the environment. I mean, you use a lot of energies to make people understand. And then that comes with resources, because then you need to invest in some money to make campaigns, to, sensitize the people. So there are quite a number of issues revolving this work we do.
So whoever is advocating for environment is based in Kampala here. I do not know whether you people just identified that plastics is within Kampala or you just chose to be comfortable in Kampala here. Have you considered okuberanga movake Kampala ne mugenda kumbyaleyo? Because there are plastics in there and people don't know how to do proper disposal. Have you stretched outside Kampala?
Well, we, at the moment, not. Just like we only 2 years with this work, but we are looking at scaling up our work to grassroots, working with people from Amuria, Kabera Maido, Kapera Byong, everywhere. Okulaba nti eddoboozi ery'okutaasa obutone ligendera ddala ku grassroots. Mbantu bali abawansi okumanya nti obutonde yensonga lwaki naffe
wetuli,
yes, tussa. We are at the moment working in Kampala, but we intend to scale up this. But then you see, also the approach that we are using, because when you, for example, put out a message, you never know who is going to get this message, right? Because, for example, social media is borderless.
Yeah, true.
Yes?
Yeah.
So when you put up a tweet or a post, you never know who is going to get that post. So physical campaigns, awareness campaigns, we are in Kampala, but then we are yet to scale up the message to
other parts
of the country. But social media-wise,
campaigns,
we are everywhere.
You're doing great.
Perhaps we are everywhere. Yeah.
You are everywhere. Okay, you use Green Deal on your social media platforms?
Green Deal on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Yes.
Are there any achievements before Lillian comes in?
Well, there are achievements. Just like I did tell you, one of the works we do is to make government account and corporate citizens through public interest litigation. We are pursuing a case against government of Uganda and its environmental agencies, that's NEMA, NFA, to protect one of the forest reserves in Uganda. So we are in court holding government to account, because under the law, government is supposed to protect natural resources.
That's true.
So failure to protect these natural resources like a forest, you have breached your legal mandate. You've breached your duty under the law. So then that calls for action. We people who care about the environment, who push for the environment, to Gamba, you violated your legal duty, your legal mandate under the Constitution and the other laws.
Yeah.
So what we can do is to push you to act, because if we go to court and court issues an order or orders saying protect, conserve, as you're supposed to do, then that will help in protecting that forest. Yeah. Right. So, but we are also doing online campaigns. Yeah, about protection of the environment. But we also doing protection of environmental human rights defenders. They are defenders that protect the environment, that push for the environment, protection of the environment. So those people are targeted and are threatened.
They're even imprisoned.
They are even imprisoned. So we work with quite a number of environmental human rights defenders to empower them to know how they are supposed to do their work.
Give them legal services.
Provide them legal services just in case they are perhaps arrested or maybe threatened. So we help them and guide them on the legal avenues that are available for them, right? So we also, just like I did tell you in the school approach, working with schools to equip a culture, green culture in young people in schools. So those are some of the things that we are doing at the moment.
Okay. The schools mukola institutions zizoka oba naba high school ne primary.
We work with all institutions, primary schools, secondary schools, colleges and universities.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. I've heard these terms zimbuzabuza, and I believe some of the people out there now climate justice, environment justice and all that. So climate justice be climate yetaga justice yetago working and all that. Break it down for
well, thank you so much, yes, Princess, for your good question. People do not understand these concepts. And I don't blame them, because they are quite new concepts. They are novel concepts in our country and maybe in the global south as well. So climate justice is a concept that demands equal sharing and distribution of climate burdens. So what does that mean? That means that for example, you know, some of the causes of climate change is the carbon emissions, right?
Yeah.
So for example, if the developed world, for example, the US, China, Canada, India, these people produce a lot of carbon emissions, right? But we are in one globe. So most of these emissions that are produced in these countries end up affecting countries in the global south, where we emit little carbon emissions. Because now, for example, Uganda emits 0.0003 of the global carbon emissions. So what climate justice demands is that these people who contribute much towards climate change, can they do also much in combating climate change?
Yes.
Okay.
Right? So that's the concept of
climate justice.
Climate justice.
And then environment justice.
And then that doesn't only apply to countries, but also we are looking at, for example, if there is, there are factories in Uganda that are producing carbon emissions. Yeah. And these carbon emissions are affecting the environment, the atmosphere. Can these factories also do much in combating the effects of climate change, right? So that's the concept of climate justice. Then environmental justice is using the environment sustainably, right? For future generations. We have a right to utilize the environment, because the environment katonde yatuwa obutonde tubudependingeko.
Yes.
You know, butuwe enkuba, butuwa amazi. Naye, for example, if you have minerals, we are also supposed to maybe use those minerals for economic development. But environmental justice demands that whereas you are utilizing those resources or the environment, can you utilize it resourcefully, sustainably, so that there will be no effects on the people, right? So that's the concept of environmental justice. Yeah.
And then the key principles
of
climate justice.
Climate justice. Of course, there's an element of human rights.
Okay.
Because now, for example, the climate change induced causes, climate change induced, what's the word? Effects. Yes, climate change induced effects. For example, like drought. Now, when drought comes, it's going to affect livelihoods of the people. It's going to affect, for example, in a country like Uganda, where people, 80% of the population depends on agriculture and is highly affected by vagaries of weather and climate. So when drought comes, which is a climate change induced effect, right?
Yeah.
Drought is going to affect people, and affecting people, it's going to get into an aspect of human rights, because then their rights will be affected, their right to life will be affected, right? And the other fundamental human rights will also be affected. So there's a concept of human rights. There's a concept of equality, right? So, for example, if just like I did say, if countries in the global north produce carbon emissions that are going to affect the globe, for example, we, Uganda, will be affected, but also other countries, for example, in West Africa, Eastern Africa, and Southern Africa will also be affected. So how are we going to, now climate justice comes to demand for equality. Ogambanti, the global south and the global north should equally be seen in the fight against climate change.
Yeah.
So that's also the other principle of climate justice. Yes.
Okay. So kati bino ebyobugagga bye tulina mu ttaka tubirekeyo, for example amafuta, waliwo abasimayo gold, waliwo abasimayo ebyenjawulo. So tubireke because nabyo binengeri gye bi-affectingamu climate.
Well,
Tete walaba kampeni ya tojja gasima.
Because President wabayogera tulaga nti tulina kye tugenda okufunamu bwe tusima amafuta. But then environmentalists ne mujja ne mutugamba nti temugasima mugalekeeyo gajja kwonoona obutonde bw'ensi. So kati ebyobugagga bye tulina mu ttaka tubireke bulesi.
Well, Princess and Farida, njagala obagamba nti wetuli kati, according to scientific report, we are almost at a point of no return. Tekitegeeza ki nti bwe tuba tetuchanginze trend of harming and
the
environment, we are at a point of no return. The other day I was reading a book by Greta Thunberg titled "No One is So Small to Make Change." So she was saying that we have had 5 extinctions, right? You know the famous dinosaurs that one time lived on this planet.
And then aliens nazo
I'm not sure of the aliens, but I'm sure of the dinosaurs that were extincted. So
climate we yakyuka nazo ne zigenda nga zifa.
So tubaddewo ne extinctions 5. Kati ey'omukaaga, the 6-month extinction yaffe y'abantu according to science. We tubanga tuchanginze trend.
Ey'okutaano yali ge gali amazike.
Gye zaali ezo ze dinosaur.
Okay.
Right? So bwe tubanga tetuchanginze the way we are harming the planet and the climate, we are going to be the 6th extinction. Obutonde tubuhamize naye nabwo bwerwanako. Nabwo bwerwanako obutonde nabwo bwerwanako. The fact that it's true that we are harming the environment, bwe tubanga tetuchanginze trend, one time the environment is going to get rid of us and then it's going to okweyubuleddeyo mu butonde bwayo.
Or wajjawo extinction endala.
Kati that will be the 6th extinction. As we speak today, the level we are, waliwo kye bayita the triple planetary crisis. What that means is that we are faced by climate change, biodiversity loss, waste and pollution. Now those things, those three crises are the ones that, if we don't change the trend, are going to lead us to extinction. Right? Now, yes, but it chooses a trend. Now that gets me to your question of, can we leave our precious minerals under the ground? Now, fossil fuels, that is coal, crude oil, and natural gas. There's just in the polluting the environment. Those three fossil fuels, crude oil, natural gas, and coal.
I want to work ne crude oil.
One crude oil Uganda,
Yes.
The one that we've been saying, no, please don't let this oil flow out of the ground. Now, the fact that amafuta gano oba crude oil yemu ku kintu ekyasinze polluting the environment. Tugamba nti amafuta gano bwe munaagasima, you're literally going to pollute the environment. The magnitude of carbon emissions that is going to be emitted in our airspace, we will not have the capacity to fight back, right? As we speak today, you see what is happening in Bududa, the landslides, what is happening in Kabale, right? Now just imagine we are going to pollute the environment 10 times more. So you're going to scale up all these climate-induced disasters all over, right? So what does that mean to the common person who depends on agriculture, on nature? Because our people depend on agriculture. What drives agriculture is rain. So if you don't have rain, it's as well as condemning people to death, right? So I think we need to be objective in thinking. We need to, you see, the principle the first principle is self-preservation. You know, there has been economic contraction globally. We are struggling. Our debt burden is soaring every day. Now, for example, I'll give you an example of Kenya. The other day I was looking, His Excellency President Ruto. He was hosted by a billionaire, Mo Ibrahim. Now, Mugamba, we have oil in Turkana and northern Kenya. Why are we not exploiting the oil? And the response of President Ruto was, yes, we have the oil, but we care more about our people. We care more about Kenya and we care more about the planet. So much as we are hard hit by economic setbacks, for example, COVID, the war in Ukraine, and we are really struggling. Now, to only look at an alternative for that as getting oil out of the ground, which is going to have much more consequences of our people. For me, I think it's being short-sighted. It's not caring about our country. Because one day we will wake up and we will not have that oil.
And there are better ways of extracting that oil.
Well, there are advanced technologies. There are advanced technologies that are in place that we can use to get that oil out of the ground. But then that doesn't mean that pollution will not happen, right?
But it will be at a minimal.
Oil spills, but then that will pollute the environment as well. And that has been the idea of government. That has been the argument of government. We are using advanced technology.
And the pollution is minimal, so
pollution
it can be managed.
Yes, but the thing is pollution. It's not about being minimal. We are now, the globe is now at a trend of moving to net zero by 2030. That's the global agenda. Now, when you look at countries in Europe, they are now transitioning to clean energy, and that has been.
Well, yes, they have done what they have done, and we are facing the consequences.
For me, I think I was very fortunate enough, because at the time the amafuta gabo utilizing here, we are not in a crisis like that we are right now.
That's what they caused the crisis.
Well, and that's why we are always demanding for them to pay reparations to countries like countries in the global south. That's why at COP27 in Egypt, wawuliranga countries of Africa, the least developed countries in Zigamba, we need a fee for loss and damage, right? You are accelerating the climate, you are causing climate change, but we are most affected. So can you set a fee for loss and damage? Because our people are being affected by your own actions. Use the countries in the developed world. Amafuta gamwe mwagasimada.
Nebagamalayo.
Gachaliyo. So we are at a transition now, right?
Yes.
Now, we are unfortunate. By the time at which we are
unfortunate. By the time we discovered we have these minerals.
We have all these issues of climate change.
Oh.
And so for the most unfortunate bit is that one day we'll wake up without this oil. But Uganda is, I must say, is here forever. So what if we exploit this oil at the detriment of the next generations, the children of our children? What will we tell the children of our children? That we use the oil, affected the environment, and you're now using inhalers because the entire air is polluted. Will that be the answers to our children? So for us, we are thinking better.
Where is the guarantee that if we do not extract this oil, the generation to come won't extract it?
Well, for us as a generation, we would have played our role. So it's just like saying I will not work because if I work and accumulate wealth, and when I depart, my children will misuse the wealth. Do your role when you're still alive. So our role as a people right now is to make sure that we play a critical role in conserving the environment. And that means let's look at alternative means of income generation to our country.
So now that the oil is being extracted, let's look at the chances of the government being able to manage the pollution that is being polluted, that is being set in the air. Like chances ziri kumeka, tuli kumeka, like okubanga tugenda managing the pollution that we are causing.
Farida, truth be told, the rhetoric about managing pollution, you see, before you convince me that you're going to manage the pollution, you must set an example. Where are you buying these ideas that you're going to manage this pollution? For example, they have been pointing fingers at Norway, how they have advanced technology that will, and the same technology that we are going to buy to minimize pollution. But as long as you're going to invest in the oil and gas sector, as long as you're going to exploit, you're going to produce oil, there's no doubt that it's going to be pollution, right?
Okay.
So there is no guarantee. There is no guarantee that
this pollution is going to be managed.
So,
and there are ways, and there are things that the government should be doing.
There are only mitigation systems.
Yes.
Just like I'm telling you, advanced technology. But then that technology doesn't stop pollution. Pollution will still be there. To them, from here, I don't have the evidence. Yes. But what they are saying, and based on what the countries that are benchmarking on,
yes,
but it's going to be less. But from the practical examples for me that I've seen, the oil-producing countries in the whole world, when you venture into the oil and gas, you're definitely going to pollute the environment.
So the idea would be...
What comes next, you definitely know. All these disasters are people losing crop productivity, crop yield, work productivity. Just imagine there was a flood in Kampala. Perhaps I wouldn't make it to this show early enough. Right?
If it was for the evening, you wouldn't make it.
Thank you so much. If the air quality is really bad, do you know what then that is going to mean? Tourists are not going to come because of poor quality. So challenges. I think for us, we are thinking short term. We are not seeing what's next after the oil.
The only problem I have with your solutions, they don't offer some person another chance. Like, let's say, mafuta mwemuga temugasima. But if you say mugasime but also do this to mitigate the pollution that you're going to cause, that would be better. Naye mwe ebintu byamwe don't kusima mafuta, don't produce plastics, don't do this, which sometimes it sounds like it is.
It's because the consequences are grave. I mean, they're irreversible, right? Just imagine producing tons of carbon every other day for the next 50 years. As bad as it is today for Uganda, but we are adding on producing carbon every day for the next tons of carbons for the next 50 years. What does that mean?
As bad as it is, as we are producing 0.003.
In the lenses of 0.003, that's a lot.
But the people that are producing way much.
Now, the beauty about the clean energy transition discourse is that the Western world is now transitioned to clean energy, right? Now, us now venturing in fossil fuels will be like curtailing the efforts of saving the planet. Well, for them, they did pollute for so many years, and they are now bringing it down. I'm not saying they have stopped. They are bringing it down. Yeah. Now, that is a plus to the environment. Now, if we are going to scale up the production of fossil fuels. Don't
you think you are
do we have the economic muscle? We take the same route as they are taking the clean energy.
But you see, development of at the moment, well, we have the capacity, we have the potential. Because for Uganda, for example, we have energy. I was speaking an energy perspective. We have solar energy. Uganda has a potential of 8 sun hours per day. What does that mean? Huge solar potential, solar energy potential. We have uranium deposits in Karamoja. Uranium can produce nuclear energy, right? So we have other alternatives of energy. Now, I think the energy challenge is a more political leadership issue than what we see today. Because, I mean, what's hard about setting new renewable energy, for example, like solar, that's going to help the people? What's hard about developing our nuclear mines and deposits in Karamoja to produce power, right? So for me, it's more, I think, of a leadership challenge than what we see here and what we see. Yeah.
Bino ebibiri bitambule bitya enkulaakulana n'okukuma obutonde bw'ensi nga tewali kiyita ku kinnaakyo because byonna tubyetaaga.
Yes, Uganda we have, away from the mineral, away from the oil and gas debate, all these resources that you see, the utilization of these resources is governed by laws and regulations, right?
Yes.
But now where the challenge comes is that they tell you that before an investor comes and sets up a factory, they must follow a procedure before you set up a factory. You must undertake an environmental social impact assessment.
Yes.
You must be licensed by NEMA. But think what happens then. Because of, our, we call them broken systems, an official at NEMA is given a kickback, an environmental social impact assessment report is issued
done,
contrary to the environment. Moreover, the economic activity that is going to happen is affecting the environment.
Yeah.
So, then we must strengthen our governance systems.
Okay.
Right? Tulina okumanya nti amateeka agaliwo agalondoola obutonde agakuuma obutonde galina okukola nga bwe gasaanidde okukola.
Right?
Aha. Ffe tetugamba nti tutandikawo okukolera. Naye ekkolero obubanga wakulitandika. If it's an insecticides factory, can you follow the due process of the law as the law says? Because then bw'oba ogenda otandikawo ekkolero eryo ligenda okukozesa obutonde. Naye there are laws elulungamya engeri gyotandikawo insecticides factory. So byolina okugoberera. So if the two are to go hand in hand, then we must follow the due process of the law. We must, our institutions must work. NEMA must work. Government institutions must work.
Kati NEMA ye enakoleta because etunulira ekyokuba nti otagaba investor bano abajja okuteekawo amakampani gano netunulira n'ekyobutonde bw'ensi negamba owaayi ekimu kakisinge ku kinne waakyo
waliwo
and I think that's basically how NEMA works.
Waliwo factory emu eri side eya cement abatuuze baali bacomplaininga nti tebakyassa naye waba webasogenda ozuuka ng'ofaanana nga cement wenawe ng'akobunye watuzeka. So you wonder NEMA bo abantu bano batebalaba okatugambe kale bafulukinga maybe waliwo owa NEMA omukulu omu gwe bawaamu akasimbi naye kati waliwo wolaba nti kituufu omuntu twamukkiriza naye asusse bo abatebabalaba.
And you see NEMA under the laws, what was the vital environmental audit? Ugamba nti niwe mbanku the license genda maaso okole omulimu ogwo. Nino komawo nenkola audit ogamba nti after maybe 2-3 years are you doing things as you're supposed to do?
Otambulira mu line
waliwo ebikyuse mu nkulaakulana y'abantu, waliwo ebikyuse ebigamba nti omulimu ogwo gulina okuvaawo obutagenda mu maaso. So ebintu bino byonna byenkugamba nti bitongole bya government ne government tezifaayo kugoberera because go around and see when you take Masaka route, Chengera wetland, there's a factory there, it's in a wetland. Take the northern bypass, Chigo, there are a litany of buildings there, they are in wetlands. So do you think NEMA doesn't see all these things?
Yatunulira kiri ekyokuvaamu omusolo n'okuvaamu akasimbi.
But you see, it's like saying that you've had this debate, give out body organs for money. So if you give out all your lungs for money, how are you going to enjoy that money?
Batya okwenganga abantu bano.
They are deliberately not doing their role. They are not doing their legal mandate. They are supposed to protect the environment, they are supposed to conserve the environment, but they are not doing exactly what they are supposed to do under the law.
Okay.
So we would actually be doing better singa to kuma obutonde, but then to making sure nti ne amakolero or factories ezigenda ezijja eziriwo nazo zifollowinga amateeka nga bwe gagamba ag'obutonde.
Okay. Omukyala Nahurira agamba, does Ronald think that as the world moves, can we live without plastics completely, well knowing that plastics produce duvets, polyester clothes, tiles and other rubber products?
Well, that's a good one. But then well, these plastics are useful. One is that tezina mugaso. Plastics zino mugaso. Now the challenge comes in management of these plastics.
Okay.
How are we going to manage these plastics? The fact that we don't have the potential right now, the fact that when people are producing plastics isn't ending up on myala, mutaka, mumayanja, that means we can't manage plastic pollution.
Okay.
So our voice is, can we stop plastic pollution?
Apart from social media, schools and boardroom campaigns, how can a local plastic user access such information?
Well, the other day I was looking at the UBOS report. Bagamba nti Uganda abalaba emitimbagano ababeera ku mitimbagano beeyongedde. So if you have about 15 million Ugandans who are on social media, then for me it's an opportunity to tap into, right?
And we have Ugandans who have smartphones. Nga just yajina bubezi nga smartphone. And then the people who are using social media. Ate nabo tebatuka ku number yaba balina smartphones. Aba social media batono nnyo compared to the number of people who have smartphones.
Well, social media ngamba si ngeri yokka gy'oyinza okutuuka ku bantu bonna. Even ku muntu oliwo wa wansi ow'ekyalo, right? Alaba TV. There are different approaches. And the campaign against plastic pollution, against abusing the environment is very loud. People can get the message. I work with Green Deal, but there are so many hundreds of organizations that do work for the environment. Okay. There are those that work with community-based organizations, but there are also community-based organizations. Great friends of mine, friends of Zoka, but everyone say Mwapala Training Center. Okay. They are doing work towards protecting the environment. So, as we think of scaling up this work, there are more other hundreds of voices that are pushing for protection of the environment.
Nahurira had a couple of questions. Her last question, I think, we saw 2 weeks ago. Should the environment, hoping it is the name, launching a report? How is Green Deal working hand in hand with such organizations that have come out to speak hard against environmental destruction?
She's
Nahurira.
Yeah. Thank you, Nahurira. We are working with the Environment Shield. Oh. Actually, work with Aaron.
Shield the environment.
The Environment Shield. They are our partners in the campaign against plastic pollution and abuse of the environment. So we are, even when you go to our social media handles, you will see that we do work together with the Environment Shield. So we are partnering with organizations, several other organizations, to see that we amplify the voices in protecting the environment.
Okay, Nathan says, hello, thanks for the show. I am watching live from Chambago University. Thank you so much for watching. Ethan Mwine, thank you for tuning in. Magara Brian, says, I am watching live from Masindi. Thank you so much for watching. Senja Kodafa, thanks for the show. I am watching live from Entebbe. I think questions is wedde yo atera n'obudde nga bondese madengenda kusaba akatalekeka your last remarks.
Kyenjagala okugamba abantu baffe bonna wabwereyo kubajjukiza actually nkimanyi nti baali bakiwuliddeko naye kubajjukiza nti obutonde bwaffe bukola kinene nnyo ku bulamu bwaffe, right? Yeah. Ng'obutonde tebuliwo tetusobola kubeerawo. The other day mu COVID mwalaba nga oxygen cylinder bagitunda bukadde busatu naye ne kyetuwa oxygen for free. So just imagine someone of my age, the quantity of oxygen that I've consumed. If I was to pay for it, would I really handle? If I can't handle oxygen for a week, how about for years? So obutonde tulina obulaba like a strategic resource. Tulina obukuma, tulina obulwanirira, tulina okugaana destructive voices ezitujja ku mulamu gw'okukuuma obutonde. N'otema omuti ogwo n'ogwokyamu amanda n'ogugyamu emitwalo 3 after you've used 300,000, then what? Abantu babeereyo n'osanga ng'atema
then I go back and look for another tree.
Omuti gwa ffene. Osanga omuntu ng'atema omuti gwa ffene.
Yes.
Because ayagala tuition, n'agutema, n'aguteeka wansi n'agwokyamu amanda n'asasula tuition. But this is a tree that was going to live for the next 100 years. Omwana n'omuzzukulu wokubiri. Yes, n'agulyako. Besides that, gugezaako gukuwa other intangible benefits. Yeah. Gukuwa the air you breathe, their windbreaks, they help in shade, other functions, so many functions. Yeah. Right? So ngamba eddoboozi ly'okukuma obutonde kalibeere twagala libeere eddoboozi litutumufu tutumufu twagala eddoboozi eryo libeere ly'amaanyi. Bw'oba olabye omuntu alinyirira obutonde muloope gwe kikwatako, right? Muloope bw'olaba omuntu asoola kasasira mu mazzi muloope oba make them
know the impact.
Nupu bagamba oba mulabise. Mulabise. Make them feel that kyebakoze kikyamu. So bw'oba omulabisiza ajja ku feeling bad and
the next time they will not do it.
The next time they will not do it. Oh, okay. So for us, we will continue pushing for the environment and fighting for the rights of the environment. To all our stakeholders, implement the laws as they are. Amateeka galiko kubeera just mu mpapula naye galina gakolenga galina okukola. That's the message to the different stakeholders abavunanyizibwa mu kukuuma obutonde.
Okay, thank you so much. N'ababaddeko nga mutulaba nammwe mwebale nnyo. Mwebalire ddala katusuubire nti muyizeemu abanywa amazzi. Managing akacupa kobeerako ne wookasula. Don't just throw the bottle anywhere. Funa wookateeka waliyo abaana abayitaayita. When you identify waliwo omwana alonda obucupa kibeere ku ggwe okubeera nga obusolooza n'obuteeka somewhere wasobola okubusanga. Si kukasula because you know someone is going to pass around and pick it. Munange weetaaga okubeerako nekyokola okutaasa obutonde bwo because the impact of environmental pollution zigenda to affectinga banaalumanya ne saalumanya bagenda tutwalira mu wena. So gwe ng'omuntu beera bulindaala nnyo mu kulwanyisa munnange beerako nekyokola gwe ng'omuntu ate eno ne gavumenti weenaakusangira nayo eyongereze ku your efforts as a person in your own capacity. Mwebale mbadde balabi balungi nnyo ku ddakiika 2 ezibulayo okuwera ssaawa 4 ngenda kubanga ate mbasiibulira wano nkoze n'omumbejja luwedde Lilian omugenyi wange Ronald erinnya liri eddala ndiganye ku kamera mbaddeko n'omukyala Teddy Tenjo Nabukeera mu control room waliyo alina omukulu mukose Anthony. Mbadde balabi balungi tusinkane ku ssaawa emu tugenda kubeerayo ne Afro Caribbean Link omukulu Roger Striahabwe ne Nomanto Muhimbisi bagenda kubeera wano nga banyumyamuko namwe mbasaba mubeereko show ebanyumire mbaagalizaaho olunaku olulungi. Very good morning.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.